Hello everyone, my name is Asyrafchazz and welcome back to yet another One Piece card game video, and this time we're going to talk about the yellow cards in OP-04. And this is the color that I'm most excited about. It's the only color that I actually read through every single card first. Interesting cards from yellow that would benefit not only the Yamato leader but also my man Katakuri. Every single set brings something for Katakuri, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, let's talk about all the OP-04 cards in yellow. If you want to take a look at all the other cards, there is a playlist in the description below that you can kind of just play and listen to me rant about every single card in OP-04. But anyway, let's jump into yellow cards. OP-04, let's go. Last color. Woo! Alright, starting with Otama. 1 cost 0 power with counter 1000. On play, add up to one of your opponent's animal or smile type characters with a cost of 3 or less to the top of your opponent's life cards face up. How the mighty Otama has fallen. This is, I mean, like, it could be good if you're like, it's so situational because it only affects your opponent's animal or smile type characters. On lore, maybe it's quite good, but I don't think this is a playable card in any stretch. So we'll move on from this. I'm sorry, Otama. And next up we got Toko. 2 cost 0 power with counter 1000. On play, you may trash 2 Land of Wano type cards from your hand. If you have 1 or less life cards, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life card. So it's a recovery if you want to, just by discarding 2 Land of Wano type cards from your hand. We've seen this type of effects being played, although it's not on like a counter event card or trigger. You could use it if you want to recover 1. I think it's perfectly playable for sure. So let's move on. You can use it in Yamato as well. To Olin, 7 cost 7000 power. Also treat this card's name as Charlotte Lilin according to the rules. Trigger if you have 1 or less life cards, play this card. You can use this in Yamato. You can use this technically in Big Mom and Katakuri as well, because you don't have to discard a card to play it. It's essentially a free card if you have 1 or less life cards. Other than that, it's a 7 cost 7000, essentially vanilla with no counters. So, you know, depends. There's a lot of slots, a lot of cards that take up the 7 cost slot. More importantly, the other Big Mom from the Big Mom starter deck, which I do think it's slightly stronger because it is 7, it is higher power and it has a really powerful effect. So, I don't know if this card is super playable. Some people may try to make it work, but rest of now, it's just like, okay, it's decent. So let's move on. To Capone, Gang, Bege. 3 cost 3000 power with counter 2000, so hey, it's a playable card if you want to. Doesn't have any effect, but it has trigger up to one of your opponent's leader or character cards cannot attack during this turn. Now you can't play this card straight up, so once the trigger activates, it goes to the trash straight, but it is a one-time protect against one of your opponent's leader or characters. And if you're facing off against that, I spoke about this in the Black video where your Luffy, there's a 20,000 powered Luffy coming your way, this could be a really good tech against it if you're lucky enough to get it hit from your life. Boom, prevent that card from attacking, messes up your opponent's whole plan, move on with your day. So I think there's a place for Capone Gang Bege in the meta game for sure for a 2k counter. So I think I might try it out in like future lists for Katakuri, and I'm gonna like it. It's really quite good. Next we got Caramel or Mother Caramel. 2 cost 1000 power, counter 1000. On your turn, on play, draw 1 card. Okay, so it's like if it's your turn, you play this, you draw 1. Then triggered ability is play this card, then KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. Could be interesting, could be good depending on the metagame. This could be a very good card to have. I think it's just okay. It's like an average card. I don't think it's super playable in that respect. I may be wrong for this specifically, but I think it's okay. I think Caramel is okay. Next we got Kinemon, old school Kinemon. 6 cost 6000 power, part of Land of Wano, and activate main once per turn. You may pay 1. You may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand and set this character as active. So if you're going for a final push, this could potentially attack twice. I think this is definitely a playable card. You can use it in Yamato. You can potentially use it in Katakuri as well, although I think it's maybe better in Yamato. Essentially, Smoothie gets a power boost. This one gets an additional attack, so this may be better as a late game finisher. I may try Kinemon out. I think this could be an interesting addition to Katakuri decks as a final push if I want to. But there you go, Kinemon. I think it's really good. I think it's playable for sure. Looks very different than the Kinemon we know and love now. Next we got Kozuki Hiyori. 2 cost 0 power with counter 2000. It has Land of Wano and the Kozuki clan. On play, up to one of your Land of Wano type leader or character gains plus 1000 power during this turn. Triggered abilities, play this card. So if you're playing Yamato as your Land of Wano leader, you can essentially, if you trigger, play this card, it gains 1000 power, and then Yamato, being maybe base 6000 power when you have 2 or less life, gets an additional 1000 power. So it could be a 7000. That makes it really quite powerful. Also, it's a 2k counter, so I think this is definitely a playable card for yellow for Yamato. Just slot in with your 2k counter slots. This will be a great addition to that deck. Alright, next up we got Sanji. 4 cost, 5000 power with counter 1000 with blocker and trigger ability. You may trash one card from your hand, play this card. This card is a staple. Definitely putting it immediately into my Katakuri deck once the set is out. It's just really good. It's just so good. So yeah, Sanji playable. Let's move on to Charlotte Amande. Amande? Yeah. 3 cost, 3000 power with counter 2000, so you know, could be playable. Activate main once per turn. You may trash one card with a trigger from your hand. Rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. Yeah, I think if you want to, you can play this. Could be playable, kind of meh, but it has counter 2000, so if you need the slot for it, you can use this. Though I do think there are better plus 2k counters out there. Yeah, I think this is just okay. Next we got Charlotte Bavarois. 3 cost, 4000 power with counter 1000. Dawn 1, if you have less life cards than your opponent, this character gains 1000 power. So it's like a mini Charlotte tracker essentially. And trigger ability, you may trash one card from your hand, play this card. Could be interesting. I think I would much rather prefer having a cracker on my side of the field instead of this. So I would say it's below average as a card. Next, Charlotte Perospero. 6 cost, 8000 power, part of the Big Mom Pirates with counter 1000. Yeah, we got, if you on curve, right, you can, okay, if you're going first turn, you play 2 puddings. Your second turn with 4 Dawn, you play Sanji, Charlotte Cracker, Charlotte Perospero, and a pudding. Like, there's a lot of things you can play with 4 Dawn. 6 Dawn, you play this. 8 Dawn, you play Katakuri, or you play Big Mom. 10 cost, you play Big Mom. Like, there's a curve now, and this fits exactly on curve. So I do think that in that sense of like the Katakuri deck, this would be a really good addition to it. Though, you know, you may have to kind of switch stuff around. We used to kind of play the 5 cost 7000 power Yamato, because then at least if you go first or your opponent chooses to go second, you can play it on curve. This time you may have to wait a little bit to kind of throw you off. But yeah, there you go. So this is a good enough vanilla to warrant some play in Katakuri. Alright, next up we got Charlotte Moscato. 3 cost, 4000 power with counter 1000. Dawn 1, this character gains banish. And trigger ability, you may trash one card from your hand, play this card. Once again, I much rather would have a Perospero. I would much rather have a Charlotte Cracker or a Sanji rather than these cards. But you know, potentially if you want to have banish on this side of the field, maybe if in the field of Nami's, this may be your preferred choice. But once again, I do think it's below average, and I think there are better cards that people would be more willing to play rather than this. Next, we got Tonoyasu. 2 cost, 2000 power, counter 1000. Activate main, you may trash this character up to one of your land of Wano type leader or character gains plus 3000 power during this turn. This is a great card. Although it's activate main, it's not like on your opponent's turn. So if you want to go for like a final push, this gives your leader or characters plus 3000 power. So, you know, potentially could be playable, but yeah, I think this could be playable for sure. If you want to go for the final push, this could be a good card, depending on whether you want to dedicate slots for Tonoyasu. Next, we got Pound. 3 cost, 3000 power with counter 1000, which has blocker. That's kind of good. On KO, add up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less to the bottom or top or bottom of your opponent's life cards face up. So potentially could be good. I think it's a blocker that can prevent an attack and also get rid of something that's 3 or less by putting it to the opponent's life. I think it's a playable card. Whether or not people would play it depending on the meta game. So let's move on to Hera. 5 cost, 3000 power with counter 1000. This is part of the homies as well. Activate main, you may trash one of your homies type characters other than this character and vest this character. Set up to one of your Charlotte Lin characters as active. Trigger ability is play this card. This could be quite good, but you have to kind of dedicate your deck. You have to build in a way that you have multiples of homies, so like Hera, Prometheus, and Zeus. And you just go all in on Charlotte Lin. That could be interesting. And its trigger ability is play this card as well. So, but you do have to trash like Zeus, for example, and then so you rest Zeus and you rest Prometheus, give it like the effect that it gives, and then you trash it, rest Hera, and then Lin can be active and then attack again. So I think could be interesting. I think there's just a lot of deck building requirements for it to work effectively. Yeah, so I think the straight up category list with all the counter triggers may be better, but it opens up the possibility of a homies type big mom deck. There you go. Next we got a super rare Yamato, 9 cost, 9000 power. On play, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost equal to or less than the total of your and your opponent's life cards. That's a mouthful, but yeah, this could be a really powerful card for sure. Then if you have 1 or less life cards, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. So I've seen this being played in the blue, yellow, queen deck. Very powerful indeed, and this could be presenting another option for higher end for category, or also for specifically Yamato decks moving forward. I think this could be an interesting addition and definitely a really strong playable card, either as a straight up KO or potentially life recovery in the late game. Next we got Rabian, 2 cost, 3000 power with counter 1000. Trigger, play this card. Okay, that's good, very interesting. So let's move on. And to Randolph, 5 cost, 7000 power with counter 1000. This is your 5 cost, 7000 power vanilla. So let's move on to Gun Modoki, a 1 cost event card with main. You may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. Up to one of your land of 1/0 type characters gain double attack during this turn. So interesting, yeah. Then up to one of your leader or characters gain plus 1000 power this turn. That's the trigger ability. Whether or not this is super playable could be, I mean, you can give their 9 cost Yamato essentially double attack with this, and 9000 power is quite really quite strong, but you do have to add a card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand, and just for that effect to give it double attack may not be as good as it seems. So I do think this is a below average card. I don't think a lot of people will want to run this. So let's move on to Diable Jambe Joe Shot, 3 cost event card. Counter up to one of your leader or character gains plus 6000 power during this battle. Then if you and your opponents have a total of 4 or less life cards, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. So first of all, giving something plus 6000 power for 3, you know, people play in Sanji decks. And then if you have total of 4 or less life cards, if you and your opponent, by the way, then you can KO something with cost 2 or less. Very situational, and the payoff isn't that good. Trigger ability is draw 1 card. I don't think this will see a lot of play, if any play at all. So yeah, definitely a below average card for the event space. So let's move on to Heavenly Fire, a 1 cost event card with main. Add up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less to the bottom or top or bottom of your opponent's life cards face up. I think this is a really cool card. It's a straight mini removal, just straight answer if you want to. And yeah, I think this could be definitely being playable in the metagame if it calls for it, because it's just a straight answer to something you don't want to deal with. Kairos, put it into your opponent's life. Put it at the bottom of your opponent's life. The trigger ability as well, you may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand, then add up to 1 card from your hand to the top of your life cards. Could be really good if you want to trigger specific trigger cards from your life. It's actually really quite good. So this is the sleeper hit of the set, at least for yellow event cards, and I really quite like this card. I'm definitely going to try this out. At least some numbers of it, some copies of it in Katakuri. And there you go, every single yellow card from OP-04, which marks the every single card from OP-04. Yeah, thank you so much. If you watch every single one of the videos, I do appreciate it, so thank you so much. We'll probably, once the alternate arts are out, once the set is out, we'll do an every alternate art from OP-04 in a future video. And I'm excited because I'm gonna try my best to open some boxes of this when the set comes out, and hopefully we can do a live stream or two. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.